Hey everyone, Mr. Clutch here, getting back to our daily review videos. Wanted to go through SPY and QQQ really quickly here. So first thing we're going to do is I've got a clean chart here, so we're going to draw some zones for those of you that are not familiar with how to draw your zones. So we're going to go back. This is pre-market today, Thursday, July 6th. So we're going to go back and draw our zones from the high yesterday. What you're normally doing is going the high wick of the day down to the closest body of the candle from the previous day. That's a really nice high zone there because it gets all this here and it also gets that end of day touch there. So low a day is interesting. It kind of opened low a day, and obviously we're not going to draw a zone from here to here. So I would probably, since we've got this pretty defined area here in the pre-market, I might just, to be honest, use something like that for my low zone. It also kind of matches up with where we're at. We kind of saw our pre-market high area. So I'm happy with those zones. Let's see. So the day before, that was a half day Monday. Actually, this was a half day too, wasn't it? No, Wednesday's a full day. This was a half day on Monday, and then no market hours on Tuesday. So we can go back here, and that zone's kind of pretty close to the other one. I'll just put it there for now. And then the low of that day again was right down here. It's kind of the low of our pre-market. This is kind of a weird. So we're kind of, when you start drawing zones and you see this, we'll leave the farther back zones off for now, but just know that like this usually means this is a big area here that you want to monitor. Like this is going to be an area where you're going to see resistance. So you could go anywhere from 443 up to, it's $1 range, which is not really that huge. So 443, 444 range, we're going to see resistance, and then here you're like 440, almost 442, down to 441. So another $1 range. So we're in a pretty tight range between those. So you want to see one of those sides break. So we'll always keep the most recent zones on since it's not super clean. And then we could go back and find one much higher, but we'll stick with that for now. And then you could come down here to get a little lower in case we break down, maybe draw that zone there, probably something like that. When it's super far, yeah, I guess you could draw that out of your zone. So that's not too big of a zone. So let's go to the 2 minute, look at the action from today. All right, so here we are. So we kind of open up between our two zones here. But we're definitely looking to work our way down to this lower zone. So you're kind of looking for, if you played futures in the pre-market, that was a nice little flag there you could have taken and gotten in early. After that, it's kind of tough. It's kind of tough to find a good spot. This is more of a play the 13 day and just ride it out. I'm okay with something like that. The wicks touch both right there. And then you break down here, you're pretty close to 13. You could take that, you could get in here, but here you're starting to get into your zone, so you're kind of thinking, yeah, maybe we wait it out. Once you dip below the zone, this actually looks pretty nice down here. Oops, sorry, my mouse got wild there. This looks pretty good here when we break that down, and you don't get enough fall through, but it's a good look. So then we flip to EMAs, we get past our EMAs. So they're no longer acting as resistance. So then here's what I like to look at these like this. A lot of times you may be tempted to do this, and that's not a terrible flag. I just don't like these super steep flags that you're kind of not, you're just more of a direction flag. I'd be looking to do something more like that. But then even so, I guess you could have got in there. But like after this wick forms, if you're still being patient, because you kind of want to see this break here. So it's like once this breaks and starts moving up, you could go there. Here's a good example of one, like what I'm trying to show here. I don't like this. I don't like these straight downs. Even that, when it closes, you're kind of waiting to see this next candle. Once this candle clearly forms and then it kind of like sells back to 13, I put that candle in, and maybe you're getting in there. Let's see. We get over the 200 here. Really dips back below, reclaims. Kind of hard to find an entry there. You're still looking long here. This is kind of like a bowl shape, and maybe you draw something like that out. The problem with these, like in hindsight, it's really to see, oh yeah, if we got in right here, we'd have been the best entry the rest of the day probably. But you know, if you're drawing line, you're probably drawing that one first. You get in here, then you get stopped out. You know, like how many times are you gonna? You may even have like connected to this wick, and it's like, oh, it looks like we're breaking out here. Hopefully the 13 would stop you there, but those are hard to play like that, so you can let those go. This again, another just if you want to take the 13 touch. It was more of a touch day on EMAs than a flag day. That kind of wraps that one up. Let's look over at Qs and see what it looked like today. I'll do a quick zone draw on it. So here we are, pre-market. Got our high day yesterday, that zone there. Same thought with our low a day, so we'll just kind of come down here and do it something like that. And then we'll just, let's see if there's yeah, I'd probably come all the way back down to this flow down here and just have a pretty big zone. That's not perfect, but we're just looking for time. So yeah, it didn't really, I guess, you know, you probably want to come to the high a day next. Since there's a zone, this would technically be a zone in between this, and you see this gap here, you can almost use that gap as your zone. Look where that lines up perfectly at the low of the day. So let's go to 2 minutes, see what it looks like. So same thing, we're coming down, we're like kind of in between the two zones when the market opens, so you're waiting to see what happens. I really don't mind this here. It's like you've got wicks to connect to, and then when that starts breaking down, that's what we need a name. I asked for ideas in another video, never got any, but like when you're pushing off the 13 and breaking the trend line, that's my favorite entry right there. So you get in there, then our zone kind of holds and chops sideways for a while. I actually think you can watch this trend line right here. Look at that, it hits here, 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 comes back up again here. Now, you could have entered here on close this candle, and maybe you had paper hands and got out here. But once we go in here, let's see that. Yeah, that was through the 48 too. I don't know how much the contracts moved right here. If it was too big, you might have got stopped out, and then you could have jumped back in to break up here. But yeah, if you didn't get stopped out and you held that, you're kind of watching for the 13 to break potentially, and then it moves off and makes a nice move up. But Qs looked really nice today. There were some really nice flags. This one here is really nice. 48 holds, pushes off. There's our special play there. Again, this one was a little steep for me. Which one was that? Yeah, this was the one I was looking at that I really liked too. Like this here was kind of just walking down and almost like a wedge with a 13. Just bouncing back and forth here, and then here it goes. It starts breaking out, and you can get in here and ride that up. And I think it's pretty much does it for the rest of the day. In all honesty, for me, like I like when there's like these two things you connect here. And you might have got faked out, or you could have just redrawn since it was so close and maybe got in there. So different opportunities there. Hopefully everyone played it patient today and had a good day. And we'll see what Friday brings. I'm not sure if I'll be able to make a video tomorrow. I'm off to the lake tomorrow afternoon, so pretty excited about that. Hopefully have some relaxation this week, but I'll see what I can do. And as always, feel free to ask questions, Twitter, YouTube, Discord, at Mr. Clutch Trades, on both, and I'm happy to answer, conversate however I can help. So hopefully it was helpful. Everybody have a good end of the week. Thanks for watching.